So, we have here the Week 18, 2024 TV schedule announced. There are 2 games on ESPN and ABC. They have the rights to air. ESPN and ABC have a Monday night game every week of the season. That's 17. And then they have 2 with 3 weeks of the season on regular TV. That's 20. Then they have an exclusive game on on ESPN Plus game. That's 21. And then they're able to air 2 Week 18 games. So that's 23. And they have two Saturday games Week 18. And they have Cleveland taking on Baltimore at 4:30 Eastern, the first game, and Cincinnati Pittsburgh, the second game at Eastern. And that is for the division. If Baltimore beats Cleveland, that'll wrap up the AFC North and the 3 seed. And then you got a good game, Cincinnati Pittsburgh. It's more. It could impact the playoff scenes because, it depends on Cincinnati. Will keep hope alive. Actually, if they beat Pittsburgh, they'll keep hope alive for the 7 seed, and they'll force Denver to win, and Miami in front of them. If those 2 teams win, they clinch the playoff spot in front of instead of Cincinnati if one of those 2 teams win. But we have the games on CBS and Fox. Here they were announced on Sunday Night Football. They were announced on Sunday Night Football. Because of the fact that Monday night's game, Detroit does not mean a thing. If Detroit need to win or lose or whatever for that game for Minnesota Detroit to win, then they would wait till Monday Night Football, but they're not going to do it. Most of the games are on CBS and Fox in the early window at 1 Eastern. However, at 4:25 Eastern, there are 5 games, and there are teams that involve West Coast teams. The West Coast teams that play at home. And then they have one team that's an East Coast team, but involves a team that plays in the playoffs. That's on the West Coast. Or the Denver's on. Is that odd time? Same with, odd time. Same with Arizona if they don't do daylight savings. But which daylight savings is a whole other issue. Talk about, but anyways, we have 1 Eastern. Carolina at Atlanta on CBS, and Atlanta needs Tampa Bay to lose for them to clinch a playoff spot, as they lost to Washington, and that gives Tampa Bay a game up on Atlanta. Washington at Dallas. Washington now has the 6th seed over Green Bay. As for the wildcard teams, it's head-to-head in conference record. Washington and Green Bay have not played this season. Washington won 8 NFC games. Green Bay has won 6. As they lost every single one in their division except for 1. And then they won 5 more NFC games. Green Bay they've won 6 NFC games. Green Bay has. I believe Washington's won 8 from what I've seen. So Washington does clinch that tiebreaker. If Washington wins and Green Bay wins, Washington will be the 8-6. Washington beats Dallas, and then Chicago if they beat Green Bay. If Green Bay beats Chicago, Washington beats Dallas, and Green Bay beats Chicago. Both teams win. It'll be Washington the 6 and Green Bay the 7. Then Green Bay can get the 6, The only way Green Bay can get the 6 is if Washington loses to Dallas. And then that would be Green Bay beats Chicago. But if both lose or both win, then it's the 7. It's the 6 and 7 for Washington and the 7 for Green Bay. Jacksonville and Indianapolis is on Fox, but that's the game involving 2 teams that are in the playoffs. So one of the teams that involve the games that involve teams not in the playoffs are just gonna be like immediate metro area only, like very minimal area, like Indiana only for Indianapolis, and like Jacksonville area only for Jacksonville. That's it, Buffalo and New England, same thing here. It's just gonna be it's gonna be like the New York area and CBS, except for like the New York City area and New Jersey and stuff. That's New York Giants territory, and then New England's gonna be the Northeast and stuff like that. Like the Northeast, like Maine, Massachusetts, there, and that's it. Vermont maybe, and that's it pretty much. Because Buffalo's already clinched the 2 seed. New England has nothing to play for, for the regular season. I mean, they want to win their final game. They probably could because the rest of the Stars. Buffalo will be, but key Stars. But we'll see. Same with Philadelphia. Philadelphia will be resting key Stars against NY Giants. On CBS, that's it. So CBS has one team that's a playoff matchup. Fox so far is 2. And then Fox is the 3rd game involving a team that could be in the playoffs. Has a good shot to win the NFC South. Tampa Bay has the NFC South chance winner. If they beat New Orleans, they'll win the NFC South. If they win, Tampa Bay wins, they'll win the NFC South. If Tampa Bay loses and Atlanta wins, they'll win the NFC South. But if both lose, they'll clinch the NFC. Tampa Bay will clinch the NFC South. But Tampa Bay has a good shot to win over New Orleans, especially Spencer Rattler at quarterback playing. And then Atlanta, Spencer Rattler plays at quarterback. And Atlanta with Michael Penix Jr. playing pretty well. But Bryce Young, they and the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, they got embarrassed by Tampa Bay today. So we'll see. So Atlanta played pretty well, but they just didn't the ball first, and that was it. So there's one game on CBS that involves a key playoff matchup, or team that is in key playoff race. I'm talking not teams involved in not teams going to make the playoffs. They're resting Stars. I'm talking like resting key Stars. I'm not talking that. I'm talking like playing like big time matchup. For the playoffs for like actual like seeding purposes. So you have Atlanta, Carolina, that's 1. Washington, Dallas, Chicago, Green Bay, it's 2 for Fox. And the 3rd one for Fox is New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Then CBS has Houston at Tennessee as their 4th matchup. But Houston's already clinched the 4. And they can't move up, and Tennessee is not in the playoffs. Then at 3:25, they have 3 games on. You have 3 on Fox, so it'd be 7 for Fox and 6 for CBS. Fox has San Francisco at Arizona, which neither team is involved in the playoff race in that one. Seattle gets eliminated from the playoff race, as Seattle could only win the division. Seattle's only hope against LA Rams was Seattle needed to have LA Rams lose, and then LA Rams to not clinch a strength of victory, to have any shot at that, and the strength of victory was not clinched was already clinched by LA Rams, as Buffalo won the early window over NY Giants. Cincinnati won Bengals, they won Saturday over Denver, Saturday afternoon in the evening, and then you had LA Rams winning, but they won their matchup which helped. You had Minnesota win the America's Game Week on Fox, the national televised 4:25 Eastern game, but basically the whole game around the country, unless you're a Miami or Cleveland fan. you basically watch that game. Or maybe if you were like a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Actually, no, if you were a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you couldn't watch that game. But, so you were. And Denver fans couldn't see that game either. So, it was essentially only if you were a Miami or Cleveland fan, you're watching that game. But everyone else was watching that game, and LA Rams and Minnesota won that one pretty handily, even though the score's only 2 points at the end by Minnesota for Minnesota, so that helped LA Rams out. Then Washington winning in overtime, again the coin flip, and then they're going a 7-minute long touchdown drive, 7-minute 12-second touchdown drive to win the game. LA Rams clinch the strength of victory tiebreaker over Seattle, and they clinch the NFC West and eliminates Seattle on Fox. And then the nationally televised 4:25 Eastern game will be Miami and NY Jets, and that's because Miami is the only team involved in the playoffs. I mean, LA Rams actually could over Tampa Bay. Dude, does LA Rams have a win over Tampa Bay? Let's see here, LA Rams, NFL. I'm not sure on the LA Rams, though. If they have a shot, if they have a tiebreaker over Tampa Bay, though. They might, though. I'm assuming they do, though. I'm assuming they do. There are a few games that are eliminated. There might be a mistype. Who knows? But either way, oh well. But yeah. The LA Rams in Tampa Bay play? No. But LA Rams might have the tiebreaker clinch over Tampa Bay right now. They might. So LA Rams may have the tiebreaker. So it doesn't matter. But either way, LA Rams are playing at late afternoon. LA Rams might need to win in order to keep their tiebreaker over win over Tempe. Tempe might have the tiebreaker over LA Rams. I'm not sure if LA Rams do, or Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker if they have the same record. But anyway, LA Rams, if they don't have the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay, even if Tampa Bay wins, well, it depends, because if they find out Tampa Bay has won their game, then the LA Rams rest their keysters. If Tampa Bay, if like Tampa Bay loses that game, they will, no matter what. If Tampa Bay, if Tampa Bay owns the tiebreakers over LA Rams with the same identical record, then LA Rams will play their keysters. If Tampa Bay doesn't, then LA Rams will rest the menu no matter what. But so that might involve seeding for like the 3 or 4. Miami and my Jets will be the nationally televised game, because that involves Miami is hoping that Denver loses. Miami is hoping that Denver loses, and then if Miami loses, if Denver loses, and Miami wins, then Miami's in the playoffs. But Kansas City's resting keysters, so. But that'll be the nationally televised game, though. Kansas City at Denver, because Kansas City is the 1 seed. Even though the resting keysters, Denver still needs to win to get the 7. LA Chargers are hoping Pittsburgh loses. LA Chargers hoping Pittsburgh loses, because if Pittsburgh loses, they could clinch the 5 seed if Pittsburgh loses Cincinnati, which Pittsburgh could lose to Cincinnati. I could see that happening. So if Pittsburgh loses Cincinnati, LA Chargers end up becoming the 5. And then Denver could end up becoming the 6, depending on tiebreakers with Denver and Pittsburgh. So I think this could become interesting. And then on Sunday Football, you have the game that it was no surprise, especially that Minnesota won. And Detroit's game against San Francisco does not matter for Detroit. But Detroit's not going to rest key starters. They're going to keep their momentum in for the playoffs. They're going to keep momentum in. They're going to keep their momentum going for the number 1 seed. So like I was saying, Minnesota Detroit is a game 272 of the NFL regular season. And the win of that game is going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. And that does not surprise me. That was the Sunday Football. I knew that was going to be happening. Like I said before, Minnesota won. Detroit lost. Even if Detroit loses San Francisco, which they're not going to, they're going to try to keep their momentum, like I said before. They're going to try to keep their momentum alive, obviously. Why wouldn't you? So Minnesota Detroit's going to be for the 1 seed. NFC and 1 seed. So most of the games, there's going to be 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 games that involve teams in the playoff race on Sunday. Carolina, Atlanta, Washington, Dallas, that's 2. Cincinnati, Green Bay, 3. Or first in the playoff race, either fighting for seed, like a higher seed, or fighting just to get in the playoffs. That's 3. Then you have 4, which is going to Tampa Bay. 5 is going to be Kansas City, Denver. 6 is Seattle. That's 8. That could be 6. I'm not sure on that one. 7 is LA Chargers. Unless 8 is maybe Denver. No, it's 5 on Fox, 3 on CBS. And you have 2 teams involved in the playoff race. And there's Cleveland, Baltimore, on ESPN, ABC. And if Baltimore ends up in the AFC North, and Pittsburgh wins. If Baltimore loses and Pittsburgh wins, they'll clinch the AFC North. And Cincinnati still have hope alive against Denver. If Cincinnati wins, Denver will have to win. And so Miami will clinch. They're doing that so that probably also so that both Cincinnati and Pitts, so that both teams, that there's other teams that I guess it won't matter. The other Chargers could rest their stars actually, because if Pittsburgh wins and Cincinnati, because they have the tiebreak over Denver, because they beat Denver, so it's gonna be interesting. It's mainly going on at 7 on Sunday afternoon. And that makes sense. So it's gonna be interesting, But my guess for a nationally televised Fox game is going to be Washington at Dallas. And the only reason I say Washington at Dallas is going to be the nationally televised game is because the fact that Washington is this. Washington is this. Washington Dallas was the nationally featured game, and I don't think they want to feature Chicago. you know, um, the nationally televised Fox game is going to be Miami my Giants. Especially if LA Rams have nothing to play for first team. They're locked in the 3. You know, if my LA Rams are locked in the 3, then no matter what, then like LA Rams may not have to work, may have the 3 sequence, but we'll see, not for sure. No, but Miami, LA Cheers might not matter. I would assume they would show Kansas City and Denver. That would be the nationally televised game. Miami might get City televised. Unless it's in the LA Rams. It's something to play for. But we'll see. If they do going into this week, into week 18, or then they might pivot and just have Miami. Alright, go to like the featured standby game. But then the featured nationally televised, I think it's gonna be one of those cases where Tom Brady is Kevin Booker on the 14:50 Eastern game. I think that's gonna be Washington Dallas. It's gonna be that game. Oh, it could be Seattle LA Rams. It could be on that one, but either you want to be Washington Dallas or Seattle LA Rams. And then number 3 announcers will probably be on Chicago, Green Bay. And then number 4 will be Miami and the Jets. Or actually, it might be in Northern State, but it's the 5. Number 6 will be in Jackson and Indianapolis, and the 7. The fun announcers will be on. The normal announcers are 5 announcers. I normally get games every week, typically. Except for this week, there's only 4, but typical 5 every week, then they get them. They'll play on some. They'll get all playoff teams. Remember, teams with only one playoff team. CBS, there's only 1. Two, 3 games involve seeding for playoffs, so top 3 notes should do that. Or 6 games. Every game is. Every team in CS will playoff teams, but 3 of them will involve teams of wrestlers. Except in Philadelphia, maybe Saquon Barkley might try to play Saquon Barkley with the extra 17th game, try to break the rushing record. Which is, you know what I mean? But they get the extra game to break the rushing record, so some people might be like, well, is that kind of fair? Should you know the extra game? Yes, no.